Welcome to episode 5 of the Nothing But Bricks podcast. Today I'm joined by John from Club Brick. Welcome to the show.
Hey Sean, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So to start off, I guess we could talk about what got you into Lego.
Into Lego. Well, that's going way, way back. Probably before I can remember. I probably got Lego sets for Christmas when I was very young. It's pretty much I can say. I mean, I've always liked it. I used to like Castle the most when I was younger, and that pretty much stuck through all the way through now. So, adulthood, the only thing that's really changed is went from getting Lego for presents to buying it myself. So, as long as I can remember, I guess, in short.
Hmm, cool. Yeah, I'm the same. yeah. Yeah. Uh, what's your favorite type of Lego sets?
Um, I prefer the non-branded, like what's the term? Lego, what's the word? Like non-licensed themes, I guess it is. Like I'm a big fan of Castle, big fan of Pirates. I like Space, even though I haven't really bought many Space sets in the past. The only time I really liked the licensed themes was something I'm particularly like excited about. Like for example, the Lord of the Rings sets because I love Lord of the Rings. I really want to get some of those. Star Wars, of course, everyone loves the Star Wars sets. But yeah, pretty much I like older sets, particularly from Castle and Pirates the most, and usually the older the better.
Hmm. Yeah, the older ones seem to um yeah, they're a lot more simple with the figures, details, which I really like. Um, so how long have you uh, been doing YouTube for?
YouTube, we actually started I want to say we created the channel like January, but maybe the first upload wasn't until about February. And that was my first venture into YouTube, so going a little better than we expected, so happy about that.
Hmm, yeah, cool. So for people who wouldn't know, what kind of stuff would you post on your channel?
Um, well, the channel itself is kind of like it's more like a community channel than anything because we give like many people a chance to be spotlighted. One of the big things we do is we feature people's Lego Ideas projects. Well, I assume most of your listeners are familiar with Lego Ideas, but if you're not, it's pretty much a way any fan can get their own creation to become an official Lego set. If they get enough votes, they'll be considered. So you need 10,000 votes, and then you get be considered to be a real Lego set if you pass the Lego review. So we help people by we see a Lego Ideas project on like Facebook or wherever, I'll say, hey, how about we make a video together? And then we post, we make a nice video presentation, we advertise it around for them. We just try to help them get supporters and get more reach because it's really hard to find like 10,000 people even notice your project. And then we kind of do the same thing at a smaller scale. Every Friday we do a live show called Mock Hour. And for that, we just let anyone just share their Lego creation, have the kind of like the 10 seconds in the spotlight as I feature each one. And we're kind of pretty open about letting anyone pop on and be part of the stream too. So I guess kind of it's like a community hub, what a sense for Lego builders.
Yeah, and from being part of the most recent stream, I noticed that you're very connected with the audience that watches the videos. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun actually.
Definitely, yeah. I love like an interactive model in Discord because the channel actually grew out of the Club Brick Discord that we had. So yeah, the same people who are the regulars in stream I'm chatting to all the time. So it's nice. I'm not sure if that model is going to be sustainable. Like if we ever like become a blow up as a channel, we have 100,000 subscribers or something. Like I don't know how we're going to be able to talk to everyone, but for now, I mean, I love that we can do this.
Hmm, yeah. Um. So how many people would be involved in the production end of the channel?
Um, at one point we had 10 people in our little group chat we have for it, but some of them aren't really involved um too much. So they say, "Oh, I'll help out in a little bit. I'll help out like later on down the road." I think the main people probably are myself leading the channel, hosting the live stream. Hellcat, who's kind of my partner in running the channel. He's the one who actually made our hit video, the coffin meme, that coffin dance meme, the stop motion made of that. That's that one. Like most of our subscribers came from that one video. I think it's well past like what is it past 100,000 views or so now. Um, him and I kind of the leaders of the channel. We also have Scario, who's taking a break right now. He Most people see him hosting when we do Jackbox game streams after Mock Hour. Briggs, who I don't want to spoil his identity, but most people know him as Professor Gott in the Brick Tier show, and he's like our most active person actually recording videos right now because he plans them out very well. He's got a good voice for it. So I'd say those are the main group. We have a lot of other people who like involved in smaller ways. There's one person named Max. He's only managed to do about one video so far, but well, Lego Racers recordings had bad luck. But yeah, he's active in the chat and he's hoping to make more stuff. We have a guy named Zoom who does stop motions. Had a couple things out. Gafisha from the Discord. He's very good at thumbnails and stuff like that, but he doesn't actually uh, make videos. I know I'm gonna forget someone, so I don't want to move on too quickly. I think that's pretty much it for the main team. A lot of people kind of hovering around saying, "Oh, maybe I'll help later on," or yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people who'd start out on with Lego channels would be like just themselves. Uh, and in a previous podcast, I was talking with the guest about how collaboration can really help whatever project it is that you're working on. Yeah, so I think that's really cool that they're. I think it's really cool that that there are so many people involved in the production end.
definitely. How I originally envisioned the whole live shows to go for Maka was everyone of our because many people on our team actually have their own smaller channels. I thought we would each join the stream as our smaller channels, and it would kind of be like a group show where everyone would get subscribers, get attention to themselves, and we kind of invite people from the audience who have channels usually to come on too, just to get some like attention for themselves. And maybe if the channel blows up one day, I mean, people go back and watch the old streams, like, hey, let's check out this channel that was on this famous channel, or who knows though? Maybe they'll get famous before we do, but it's a nice idea.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that that you include as many people as you can. Yeah, it's really nice. What inspired you to start your channel in the first place?
Um, I'm active on YouTube in general. It's like watching streams. I just watched some of my favorite YouTubers. Just I just saw how much fun they have interacting with the audience, how excited they made people when they got the show in the stream, and it just seemed like I don't know, a lot of fun. Like a lot of like what's the term I'm thinking of? I guess it's very positively affirming is the phrase I want to say tentatively, because like just I don't know to have I don't know a following to make content they enjoy to be able to help people out and um but yeah by promoting their stuff. That was kind of I guess the inspiration for it, but I didn't have much of the skills to actually I don't know the technical skills to make a video and stuff like that, and I wasn't the best speaker back then. I'm still not. I don't know. I still have ways to go, but I got more comfortable speaking. So when I actually saw people posting stop motion videos in the channel, I started thinking, hey, maybe we can like work together, and I can because you guys got great skills at stop motion. Maybe we can kind of turn this into a thing. I can help it get out there. I can help make videos too, and it kind of evolved from there from stop motions to the community hub it is now.
Hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it goes back to the collaboration is key thing.
Yep, definitely. Collaboration's everything.
Yeah. So how has the quarantine affected the production of the channel?
If anything, it's helped us, ironically, because YouTube views all across the board are going way up because so many people are stuck home with nothing to do. So I think it's very convenient timing we started the channel not long before the whole shutdown happened because that gave us a big boost in views, a big boost to view and sorry, boost in subs. A lot of people take like years to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we managed to do it in just a couple months. I think largely because of that.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. It definitely helps that for people doing stop motion that they're stuck in the house. It's like, so what's the do you have like a plan of how big you want the channel to become?
Um, Well, it's kind of been a small dream of mine to get that silver YouTube plaque, 100,000 subscribers. Who knows if that'll happen? But if I make it to that, I'll be more than happy, and it'll just be for fun at that point. Like I won't be too gung ho about growth after that. Some other people on the channel might be a little bit more excited and think, yeah, let's keep going as big as we can get. Let's make the money roll in. But yeah, my personal goal, 100,000 subscribers, I'd like to see someday.
Hmm. Cool. Yeah. Hopefully you hit that goal. Yeah. Uh, so is there anything else that you would want to talk about?
Okay. I guess we could talk about. Do you have a preference as far as like licensed versus non-licensed themes? 'Cause it seems like Lego's really steering hard into like the licensed themes. We haven't seen as much like Castle or Pirates for a long time.
Hmm. Um, I don't know. Like, I just kind of get the sets for the figures more so than um the sets. So if there's a cool looking figure, whether it's licensed or not, I'm happy.
That makes sense. But you actually do buy the sets. You don't just like go on Bricklink and look for the figures you want normally.
No, no, no. The sets also give me some. parts to build different sets for stop motion videos. So it's yeah, pretty handy.
One little known loophole. I'm not sure if I should say it or not, but I mean, I'll go for it. You can technically get any Lego minifigure you want through Lego customer service only once. Because I remember a while ago, I lost like an old figure. I think it was like from the old, like original Jabba sale bards. I lost my Jabba figure, and this was like many years later. And I emailed customer support, just like saying like, "Oh, is there any way I can like purchase this from you?" Just to see what they say. And they just sent me a free one out of the blue. And a friend tried it too for like an old minifigure that had to be like maybe 15, 20 years old out of production that they'd lost, and Lego just sent them a new one. I think it only works, and they said it was like a one-time courtesy they did, but I think that's a thing anyone can do technically. So it is a loophole. So you could say, "Oh, I lost my I don't know Jango Fett figure that's now worth $80. Can you send me a new one?" Like,
Right, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Hmm. Um. Yeah. So, do you have any like future things planned for the channel that you haven't integrated into it yet?
future things. Not su I would always wanted to do some like game Lego gaming stream videos, but I gotta wait till I get some money coming from the channel to invest in some better equipment. So I'm usually just working off just like a MacBook. I don't really, it doesn't really have the right equipment to play any good games. And the one time I tried to do a stream of it, like streaming, I think it was old Lego Loco, like it worked terribly, like the sound quality didn't come through. So I think we might get more into like Lego gaming um as we grow. And the live streams obviously are going to evolve as we get more people. We're going to see how sustainable the format is because already mock hour takes about 2 hours to do. If we're at 1,000 subscribers, if we're at 10 times that, I mean, we got to figure out another format. So one thing I'm thinking of is maybe switching from a Discord channel people share Lego creations we feature to a Reddit. So kind of like you think of PewDiePie who does his meme review, it would be the same thing. If we post their mocks there, the most upvoted one goes to the top, and those are the ones like we feature for like however far we get in an hour or 2 hours, however long we're going to be. So those are my hopeful plans for the eventual future.
Hmm, that's cool. Yeah. Like a Lego version of meme review.
Yeah, I have to make our own little song like he does.
Yeah. Um. So, did you think that the channel would reach the audience that it has when you started it out?
Um, I wasn't sure. I thought trying to think. I thought we'd soar to 100 without too much difficulty because I have a lot of like promotion places I have. Like I have a Facebook page called I Love Lego, which has like 38,000 followers, but 38,000 on Facebook is not the same as YouTube. That's worth like 300 followers on YouTube because like you post something on there and Facebook makes like 1% of your followers see it unless you pay them money. So it's like it's nothing. But still, we have that. We have a few Facebook groups. One called Lego Ideas Support Squad, which has like a little under 2,000 members. Another one just a Club Brick Facebook group. I mainly use Lego Ideas one for like harvesting Lego Ideas projects to get featured. But yeah, because we had all these outlets, I thought like if we're promoting all our videos and all of these things, like yeah, we're bound to hit 100. Combined with the fact that there was well over 100 people in the Discord at that point, if we got a good portion of them to join. But I wasn't sure beyond that. I thought I can get us. I told the team we started listening. I'm confident I can get us to 100. Like beyond that, we got to have good content. So I'm just yeah, I'm very excited we managed to. I never saw the big success of our coffin dance meme stop motion coming because that one's like I think I mentioned earlier. That's like most of our views on the channel. That one video, I forget what it's even out right now. Well over 100,000 views. So I think most of our subscribers come from that one video. So I could, there's no way I could have foresaw that. I think I was one of the first people to get on board the idea of making a Lego stop motion. Like the second I started blowing up, I was telling Hellcat who made it. I was like, he didn't even heard me. I was like, you got to make a stop motion right away. No one's done it yet. We could be the first one to do it. It looks like we got on pretty early on. I'm not sure if we were the first, but at the time, like nothing else was coming in search. So yeah, I mean, I never expected to grow this quickly, but I was optimistic we'd get to 1,000 at some point. I was predicting a couple years though.
Hmm, cool. Well, congratulations anyway. That's pretty cool. Hmm, yeah. So, you seem to have a great connection with your fan base. Just like as how does that work to reach out to as many as you can?
Um, I guess the big thing I said is I have like kind of like a flow of what's the word? a f- I kind of like have this like pass through a following where I'm trying to get I got everyone from my Facebook possible I could over to the Discord. The Discord I'm growing because I use the bot Discord, which makes your Discord server come up in like Google search and stuff. So we have it all easy to find. There's like people naturally fall into Discord, and once they're in there, we kind of just have this like set thing we do. We're like, hey, like, welcome to the server. Hey, do you have any Lego creations? What us feature in a live show? And he's like, oh wow, I want to be featured live. And the second that I do that, like, they're eager to be watching the videos, to watch the show, and that makes a loyal follower right there because they appreciate the feature. And I kind of make the Discord itself a place I can kind of hang out, so I get to make friends of a lot of the viewers. When we're still at the size where, as they talk and chat, I can. You've probably seen people who use like StreamYard, stuff like that. You can highlight people's comment and it appears in streams. So I'm still at the point where pretty much anyone talking to me in the chat, I can like highlight their comment on screen because there's not that big of an audience yet. Like it's usually like maybe at any given time, maybe 10 to 15 people watching the mock hour stream. So yeah, I think the biggest reason we're able to be so close to our followers is the size at this point. But at some point, I got to figure out what we can do because I want to be able to, I don't know, stay as close to them as possible without like getting flooded. Because I get so many pings right now, I don't want to be rude to anyone. But yeah, I hope we can continue this model being this close to the followers as we get bigger.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah. So, what's the like biggest build that you've showcased on your channel?
Ooh, the biggest build. It's hard to see because if I thought about my videos alone, I could probably pinpoint it. But just because like there's like 2 hours of content every week for featuring my mock, there's so many big ones. Someone had a giant Star Destroyer at some point. That could have been one of the biggest. I've seen a couple massive castles in there. But yeah, I've never made a note of this is the one biggest one. I think if it counts, Professor Gott, who you've seen in host narrating a lot of the videos and in the Brick Tear show, he actually, I think it's the YouTube channel. Is it Beyond the Brick? I think it's called. He used an episode of that where he's showing off a giant mock from the game Lego Universe, and that thing is like massive. It's like as tall as him. I'm not sure the full story of how many people worked on it with him. It might have been like a Lego user group worked on it with him. I think it's of the is it Nexus Tower from Lego Universe? It's been so long since I played that game. But yeah, if you ever look up that one, it's just massive. Just look up Lego Universe on Beyond the Brick.
Sounds really interesting.
So yeah, we haven't covered that one directly, but I guess by extension, like through the channel, that's like the biggest one I've seen.
Cool. But is there anything else that you'd want to bring up?
Um, hmm, what else is there to cover? Anything new happening of Lego? We got the Monkey Kid sets coming out, and that's gonna have like another show. It's similar like to the model they did of like Chima and Ninjago or Nexo Knights is gonna have a show and set tie-in. Do you know much about that or?
Um, Not really.
Yeah, I've been thinking about looking into it more because I hadn't even heard of it. A lot of people seem excited.
So, have you heard about the Lego Mario sets that are coming out, or they might have already come out? I don't know.
We did some early news videos on that, and yeah, the reaction as I well, because I think I told you, I share all my videos like all over Facebook, every Lego Facebook group I can find that allows it. Like it doesn't have a rule against it. And in the comments there's so many people saying like, "Ugh, I hate this. Why this isn't what I wanted." So I think there's a very negative reaction, at least from adult fans, because like Lego Facebook is usually like where the adult fans hang out. But I wonder if it's going to be very popular among younger players, well, builders, players. Same thing for this, because there actually is like a game component to it. So I think, yeah, I think it's going to be something more popular if I'm younger Lego fans, but it has potential.
Yeah. I saw a post where you can take the massive arms that he has and put them on smaller
I
figures.
saw that. Yeah, yeah, it's funny. Looks so goofy.
Yeah. Um. So, how long do you think you're gonna keep the channel going for?
Um, I got no plans to end it currently. I mean, worst case scenario, if I want to take more of a backseat role, I mean, we got enough people in the team that could like let someone else take the wheel or something like that. Like maybe if I ever, I don't know, if like if I'm too busy or something, I could say like, hand over the hosting of my mock hour show to someone else. And other than that, I mean, the channel keeps on going. I mean, we got more than one person who can do most roles we have on the channel. So there's usually someone to fill in for anyone who has to take a break.
Cool. Yeah. Um. hmm, Yeah. Hopefully it goes for a while anyway.
I hope so. Yeah.
Uh, is there anything else that you'd want to talk about?
I was gonna say, you can cut this out if it's not all right, but it's all right to invite your own listeners to mock out if they ever want to get their builds featured.
Oh, yeah, I could leave a link to your channel in the description so people can uh, find it through that.
Okay, so yeah, I just want to say anyone listening, if you do want your build um, featured on our live show, it's every Friday at 6 p.m. on the Eastern Time on the Clubbrick YouTube channel. So all you got to do is join our Discord and post in the Feature My Mock channel, and then yeah, there's no quality requirement. If you post it, we'll feature it
Hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to um, check out the live streams as well.
for you. A lot of laughs.
Yeah. Um. So, what's your favorite like genre of like? Do you What's your favorite part of online Lego stuff that you'd um enjoy? Like, is it brick films or Lego builds?
Um, I like the stop motion movies the best. I think they're the most fun to watch, but they seem to be kind of hit or miss too. If you make it on like a hit thing, like a meme, you can blow up to thousands of views. But if we just make one about something generic, like that, even if it's a very good animation, sometimes it gets overlooked and doesn't get any views. But those are the most fun to watch, I think, definitely. A lot of times, like if people want to like create one, they give me permission. I'll even like watch it together with the stream during the show. We'll watch people's Lego animations. Do you have a favorite Lego game? I guess. Or?
Um. Oh. Well, I'd say Lego Marvel Superheroes is my favorite one because that was like the first Lego game that I played.
Oh wow. I'm one of the few people who's still into a lot of the old Lego games. Like there's one that most people probably haven't heard of now, Lego Soccer Mania. I think it goes by Football Mania in like Europe. But that one I don't know. I still have fun of it today. You can even find it like $1 online, but I like it. It's kind of really goofy where every team is like a Lego theme. Like you might play like the Pirates against the Knights, or you might play, I don't know, the Firefighters against the Wild West, and there's just and of course every team you beat, any one of those minifigures you can recruit in your team individually. So you could have a team of like King Leo in goal, the Brickster as your forward, some Pirates as your defense. Cowboys as midfielders, like whatever you want to do. It's just kind of hilarious.
Hmm. Yeah, sounds fun. Yeah. Um. Oh, I also used to play the Lego Batman games. I remember me and my brother played the second one. I think it was on the PS2.
Are you planning to get the new Lego Star Wars?
Yeah, maybe. I yeah, maybe. Uh, I might look at like reviews or something to see if it's any good first. But yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I think it'll get a lot of attention. As much as like a lot of people kind of like turned off by some of the Disney Star Wars movies, I think there's enough following for Lego Star Wars games itself, and they're gonna advertise it as like this definitive collection of all the games people love that people won't even care if like even if they don't like Disney stuff, they'll still want to get it for all the old stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that's very smart marketing. So sorry. Um. So what's your favorite Lego game?
I'm thinking it's Soccer Mania as old as it is, although possibly Lego City Undercover could have dethroned it as my favorite game, which is weird because like I didn't think a new game could be could appeal to me as much as the old one because they kind of like how the old ones are all very unique, where the new one seems to be, even though they do some great things to them, they all kind of like clones of each other in the sense of like format of what you do. I mean, smash things, collect the studs, try to fill up the meter, look for the collectibles. Like, but the older ones all seem to be more unique. But Lego City Undercover, it just seemed like a phenomenal game to me. For some reason, it plays a lot better on the Wii U than it does on the Switch. I think so. A lot of people missed how good it could be. But if you haven't played it, it's essentially Lego made a Grand Theft Auto with they got away with it because rather than being a real bad guy, you're a Lego police officer undercover as a bad guy. So you can do anything you want. Like you can steal cars, and he justifies them saying, "Sorry, police business or police, I need your car." Just anything you can do in Grand Theft Auto to goof off, you can do in Lego City Undercover. And of course, you can even run people over because in Lego physics, they don't actually get hurt getting run over. They just like either break apart or they'll get squashed and get up again. So it's very fun to just goof off and drive around. The city is huge; like it's a massive city.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember playing that on. I think it was the 3DS or the DSi. One of them. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was actually like a prequel to the game that's on the Wii U. But yeah, they follow the same storyline. What a fun! I'm amazed how detailed that city is in the game. It looks like New York City. One kind of fun thing me and my friend used to do for the game is You can actually, of course, like usually gonna drive yourself, but you can if you get in a vehicle such as like a taxi or a limo, you can order it to drive you. But I think you're on the. I'm not sure what the controls on the Switch, when the gamepad is kind of like tapped and held on the map, and they'll drive you there. But the game's driving AI is very well, it's functional, but it's not very good for a real life driving standards. So like we like to my friend, because he's like very big into cars and he knows a lot about like, of course he knows like probably a lot more traffic laws than I do and stuff. He we try to score up how many fines they accrue for breaking traffic violations, like how many collisions they get, how many times they go off the road. We just watch how bad the driving AI is, just kind of like sit back, and it's a lot of laughs, and we try to see like who can yeah, who can get a run through of the best driving score.
Sounds fun. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So which Star Wars? Going back to the Star Wars game coming out. Which Star Wars movies would you be most uh interested in?
Ooh, that's a tough one. For the actual movies, I've always liked the original trilogy best. That'd be fun to play those. But in the past year, I've finally gotten into the Clone Wars, and that just made me have like a new appreciation for the prequel era. So it's always going to be hard to choose. Anything to do with like the clones is going to make me want to be play the episodes 1 to 3 um sections of the game more. But in general, for levels, I'm gonna like the original trilogy levels most, and probably not a whole ton from the Disney part of it. We actually had someone join the Clubbook server who like tried to hoodwink us all and pretend he worked for Traveler's Tales and he was one of the people creating the game.
Oh, right. What was that like?
Um, when he's like, "Oh, do you want to be in the game? Like, where are you gonna make me in the game? Oh yeah, you can be like a hidden statue in the background." He had this whole story like, we see in like the ruined Death Star, we're allowed to have all these ruined junk and there's gonna be Easter eggs there. So I could do something like I put a Lego King there, and in the credits you can say, we can add your name, like John Breck. I'm like, holy cow, it was the coolest thing ever. And then he had this like very like the story fell apart because one day he said, "Oh, my boss fired me for trying to put you in the game," and like this didn't happen. Like you made the whole thing up. And then like I saw some of his posts and his grammar. He seemed like he was like a kid. So like, okay, like you hoodwinked us, got me excited.
Right. Um. Sounds like it makes for an interesting story. Anyway. Yeah. I going back to the Clone Wars though. I actually recently started watching it as well on Disney Plus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm on season 2 at the moment.
It's one of the few shows that actually gets better. The further into the show you get, for the most part. A lot of people think part of the last season a little bit weak, especially like in the middle. But yeah, in general, the show just keeps getting better and better.
That's good.
And you don't have to wait because there was a long gap between the last season and the final season we just got. So you're lucky you don't have to wait for that when you get to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't it like cancelled a good few years ago and then brought back for Disney Plus?
Yep. I actually heard a rumor we might get a sequel series to the Clone Wars called like Rule of Two or something like that. I just saw like a headline. I didn't actually look into it, so I'm not sure if it's confirmed yet or not.
Well, if that is a real thing, that's exciting.
It's kind of like a very interesting moment for like well, future for Star Wars too, because before the cartoon content as far as like Clone Wars go and the show were pretty much separate. I mean, there were a few Easter eggs. Like I think, is it the Ghost, the ship from Rebels, made an appearance I think in the Rogue One movie, but it was like in the background. But it was very rare for anything like in the shows to like you'll have to know it to know the movies. But now actually we're gonna have I don't want to say too anything because it's a spoiler to you, but do you care if I say a character from Clone Wars that's gonna be in the Mandalorian show? Will that be a spoiler for you?
Oh, it's okay. I actually heard about that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Ahsoka Tano, who's like one of the main characters of the Clone Wars, is gonna be in the Mandalorian live action show. So that's gonna be a weird thing where like we actually see a jump from cartoon to live action.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be very interesting to see how that plays off because in the past there was a large segment of Star Wars fans who just never touched the cartoons and they just only watched like the straightforward movies. And you're like, who is this? I guess we had that with, like Saw Gerrera, the character, because he originated in the Clone Wars, but you didn't really have to know who he was to like appreciate him in the movie for Rogue One.
Yeah.
But I feel like Ahsoka, they're really gonna need a backstory for her. They're gonna be like, "What? Like Anakin had an apprentice? Like when did this happen?" And
Yeah. It'll probably be like, I don't know if you saw the meme, but it's like anime live action Netflix adaptation or something.
oh, I didn't. Is it funny?
Oh, it's like they have the picture of the cartoon anime character guy, and then they have like uh someone who kind of just like, I don't know. The Netflix adaptations are usually not very good, so
Oh, I
people,
think I've seen those memes. Yeah,
yeah, so people made fun of those. Yeah.
I've heard a rumor, but I don't know if it's true. It's probably disproven by now. But that Brie Larson, they wanted her to do it, and that seemed like I got a big backlash because a lot of people like because a lot of overlapping Star Wars and Marvel fans, a lot of Marvel fans didn't like her very much. So
Mm.
I was like, just for the pure drama alone, I'm like, oh no, if it's her, like her or love her, like it's gonna cause another divide in Star Wars fan. I hope they don't like make that choice just for that reason.
Hmm. Yeah. But what do you think about Ahsoka being in what about her being in the live action scene?
I'm excited for it. I mean, it's gonna be. I'm a little bit apprehensive because obviously they have to have a new actress play her as opposed to the voice actress in the Clone Wars. I guess she doesn't like look the part enough, or she's not any experience in like live action acting. But so far the Mandalorian has been a great show. I mean, there's only been maybe like one or two weaker episodes, but in general the show's been strong all the way through. I don't have My only concern is I don't have much faith in Disney apart from the Mandalorian. I feel like I like Mandalorian Rogue One, but in general, I think they kind of, I don't know, in my opinion, obviously everyone has their own opinion. I think they kind of botched the sequel trilogy. I like the setup of the Force Awakens, but I didn't like the Last Jedi at all. And then the Rise of Skywalker seemed like an apology to just crap all over the Last Jedi, but and try to squeak in an ending, even though it was kind of rushed. But yeah, I'm excited. I think Ahsoka is gonna. I hope Ahsoka is gonna be great in it, but I'm hoping it's not a matter of like Disney wasn't expecting the Mandalorian to do good. Now there's like, oh, let's rush in there and let's Disneyfy it now. I'm hoping it's not a case of that. I'm hoping they still keep the same formula as season one. They let the creators do their thing about too much interference from whoever was messing things up for the movies. So I don't want any Ryan Johnson or J.J. Abrams poking their noses in there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Hopefully, they just let like John Favreau and stuff stick to
John
their.
Favreau and Dave Filoni, yeah, from the Clone Wars.
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't notice that. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Um, but yeah, hopefully they stick to the overall vision that they have for the show rather than
Yeah.
like need to add this for uh like the toys that we're gonna sell or something.
I mean, they're not selling any toys right now. There's like videos of, like landfills filled up of Disney toys because like they failed to like in the new movies to market it to kids. Like they offended all the older fans because like what they did with like Luke Skywalker, and then the younger fans didn't seem as popular with them as previous generations. So like it's a bad time for Star Wars toys. I think Lego's probably to a good portion like they're exempt from that because people always want Lego Star Wars, but yeah, Star Wars toys are like selling the worst they ever have, which is kind of sad.
Hmm. Yeah. Um. Hmm. Yeah. What do you think of the prequel trilogy?
When I first watched it, I'm trying to remember. I remember when I first watched it, I really liked it a lot, but I was at an age then, like, where anything would impress me just because it was exciting. Like, wow, he has four lightsabers. Like that would excite me more than like a plot or anything like that. Or I didn't have like an adult, like a movie critic mind in a sense back then. But I enjoyed them a lot at the time. I actually didn't get to watch the third one for a while because I don't know. My dad was being stingy, wouldn't let me rent it. Like, no, we're gonna watch something the whole family wants to watch because I was the only nerd in the family. So I actually ended up reading the book adaptation of the third one. So I watched the first two movies and the third, and it was a while before I actually got to watch the third one. So I found it at the library, I think. But at the time, I loved them, and then when I got older and I started getting more into Star Wars, I kind of saw the flaws that people point out. Like, yeah, this part's a little cringy. The scenes of Anakin and Padme a little cringy. This just isn't quite as masterful filmmaking as the original trilogy. But then once I watched the Clone Wars show, I think it's the same experience a lot of people have. It just kind of like it fleshed it out so much that every little character that was like every little Jedi in the Council or clone trooper, they all had such like I don't know, such new depth to them that I love the movies now. It's almost like I don't know how to think about it. If the movies had come out like with the show originally, I think the movies would have been rated infinitely higher because of the fact that they wouldn't there wouldn't be as much criticism for like all the characters being just so shallow because we would have known everything we need to know and the movie would be the time for all the action to hit like they did. So yeah, I like the prequels a lot. It was a journey of like liking them to not liking them to loving them now. But yeah, overall, I really like them.
Cool. Yeah. I kind of have mixed feelings about them as well. Because like they couldn't really give it like a happy ending or anything. So they just had
I
to,
know, yeah.
yeah. So they were kind of like setting up movies that already happened. So it was kind of like um putting themselves in a corner almost. But
And it's yeah, it's kind of sad too because like you're not very far on the Clone Wars show, but you've probably seen enough of Anakin to know they make him so likable, so charismatic. Like not to diss on Hayden Christensen. I mean, he did an okay job as a role, but the Clone Wars Anakin is so much more likable. Is so much more like I don't know, charismatic in the sense that like that you're just dreading the point and thinking like how is he possibly become Darth Vader at some point? They give you little hints throughout the show, like little dark moments he has, but yeah, it just just dreading that ending. You know, is going to come. He's always going to become Vader at some point.
yeah, he kind of has more of a personality in the cartoon.
And you're going to see some moments as you get later in the show that kind of absolutely torture you because a few times are like you come like the characters come so close they're like preventing the entire like Empire, the Rise of Palpatine, and Anakin, and of course with it, Anakin might never have returned. So many times, like something comes close, and of course it fails, and Palpatine's plot continues. So it just makes you want to rip your hair. I get so aggravated, like no, it could have all been avoided.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I think if like instead of doing the prequel trilogy a while ago, whenever they were making it in like the early 2000s, if they did like the sequel trilogy then, like even though it's Disney doing it now and George Lucas then, but if he decided to do like a movies set after uh, the original trilogy, then I think they would have been more well received by everyone rather than like divided everybody.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, heard of some of what George Lucas wanted to do originally with the sequels, and I'll give like Disney this. I mean, he did have some pretty wacky ideas that I'm not sure how they would have gone over. Like if he had, I think he had these like aliens that was supposed to explain like what the Force was, something like that. It got like, or just say any sort of like fan fiction you've seen of Star Wars. Like if this someone had published it as a fan fiction, you would have said, "What the heck is this?" Like it took a bizarre turn. I mean, I'm sure like we would have all like accepted it gradually. Like I think maybe even more than Disney stuff. But yeah, it's hard to predict what would have happened with that if George Lucas had like just like gone off to his own devices and been allowed to like made his sequels. I know he did give Disney scripts, but I don't think they're ever going to be like released to show what they were.
Yeah, it would be cool if they like made that into a show or something. Just the old scripts that he gave them.
Definitely, I think that was a big controversy too, because and you can see, and Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, has he wrote a autobiography, I think it was, and he pointed out that he kind of confessed in it that they misled George Lucas to think as part of Disney deal that they would be using his script. So they bought his scripts. They kind of like told him about promising we're going to make those movies, and then they just tossed the scripts aside and did something completely new. So George Lucas was very upset with that. You can kind of see for the fact he didn't even go to the premiere of the final movie, The Rise of Skywalker. So I think he's very much not happy with it. And a lot of people's opinion, I mean, George Lucas's opinion, if George Lucas doesn't like it, it's not canon in their opinion. So that's very, I don't know, it's very sad it ended up that way.
Yeah, yeah, they probably should have like trusted the guy who came up with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they trusted Kathleen Kennedy, I think is the head of Lucasfilm, because she was sort of like Lucas kind of mentored her and stuff like that. I think she worked closely with Lucas and with Steven Spielberg, so he kind of thought it was going to be safe in her hands and she would like continue his vision.
Huh, that's a shame. But I suppose that the Disney movies are kind of 50-50. Like they're you like
Yeah,
some
they're
bits.
divisive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll. I don't know. As years go by, I'm hoping like we can pull some things out of it because the prequels had like a little bit of delayed appreciation. I don't think Disney movies are going to have that much of one comparatively, but I'm hoping we can pull some good things out of it. Like maybe like the first or the Final Order would be a cool faction to play as video games. That's like that at least. Like, and maybe we can revisit it with a cartoon later on, like Clone Wars did, to make it something more. I don't know, fleshed out.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Um, it would also be cool to see like uh the original trilogy, but in the Clone Wars show. Sorry. Like that kind of uh, thing. Like if they did a follow up show type thing of what happened after the original stuff with like the characters at the age from those movies.
Well, they kind of did a bit of Star Wars Rebels show. Have you seen any of that? Or
No.
that does this? It's not as well received as Clone Wars, but in my opinion, the kind of funny thing about it is the best episodes of Rebels are when they bring in old Clone Wars characters. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but as the show goes on, you kind of pick up more of the I don't know, some of the Clone Wars cast comes to join it, and there are some good moments in it. It doesn't come directly after. I'm trying to think how when does it start? It starts when it starts. I want to say Luke is probably a kid. Luke never appears in it, and I think it all leads. I think it all happens before the events of Episode 4, so it's between Episode 3 and 4, if I'm not mistaken. And then it's like a time jump at the end, which kind of says like what all the characters in did during the rest of the rebellion, leading up to like the end of the Empire.
Hmm. Right. That sounds like a cool show, even though you're saying it wasn't well received, but that does sound
Um,
interesting.
Mixed reception. I think most people, the general sense, I think most people liked it. Just it wasn't on Clone Wars level in a sense. It was a little bit Disneyfied. Like it's it was the weirdest thing when I first watched the like the opening episode. The main character Ezra, he's kind of like living very poor, kind of like living like kind of like stealing on the streets. And the first thing I think is like he sounds like Aladdin. And I look at him, I think Aladdin, and then there's like a guard, like an imperial. No, it's like an imperial officer who calls him a street rat. The same thing they call Aladdin, and he has the same voice. It seems like as the guards in Aladdin. I'm like, this is just too Disney. Like they Disneyfied this too much. Like I can just see Aladdin in this in too many ways. But yeah, there's a lot. There's some likable characters. Um, there's some great episodes. Some of the most beloved characters of Rebels. I mean, of Clone Wars come back in Rebels. We do get more Ahsoka. I can tell you that because she's going to be in like Mandalorian. But yeah, I think it's worth a watch.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I'll definitely watch that whenever I'm finished Clone Wars. Yeah. Sounds cool.
Maybe we'll luck out with a Obi-Wan show like they were thinking about, which would also be like in the time period before the original trilogy took place. They're still talking about that. It's a live action with the same actor as the prequel trilogy. He's probably getting old enough that he can almost play it with some makeup. He can almost play like what the old Obi-Wan looked like. But yeah, it's gonna be live action, take place, I assume, before the events of yeah, it'd have to be because yeah, he's only in episode 4. So yeah, before the events of the original trilogy, but after the prequels.
Hmm. Cool. Yeah. Kind of like what he did in Exile, almost.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm guessing is gonna be like yeah, they're gonna show things like I don't know. I think they're gonna show him doing a lot more than we thought he did, and like defending Luke from different threats and things like that, and maybe like I don't know, like mind tricking people who get close to Luke that they can like, oh, you want to go the other direction, so they don't discover where Luke is hiding, because like it's kind of a flimsy hiding spot for Luke with like a relative on the planet that I mean his dad was born on, so he needs some help there.
Yeah. That would be cool actually to like see him secretly like trying to avoid Luke while also trying to keep him safe from enemies.
Now that I think about it, it kind of makes sense that he had him on Tatooine, 'cause that's like, the last place Vader would ever want to return to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, true. Um so is there anything else that you'd want to talk about?
Um, what else can we talk about? We talked about the show. We transitioned to Star Wars. I don't think what else. I'm not sure unless I derail us into something random. I guess one cool thing I think I didn't mention is I had the idea when I got a house eventually to collect the Lego Lord of the Rings sets, even though they're expensive. I'm gonna do it gradually, and I'm gonna try to make a live map of Middle Earth in the sense like I'll put all the sets where they would go like over a map, so I can kind of make like yeah what the map would look like in 3D.
Oh, that's cool. Hmm.
So somewhere way down the line, when I have that finished, I'll make a video on it. But that'll be years from now, I'm sure. Awesome. Any other questions about anything? I guess.
Well, speaking of kind of to do with Lord of the Rings, but what do you think of the Hobbit movies?
Ooh, uh, I was not a big fan. For the most part, The Hobbit is possibly like my favorite book of all time. I liked what the setup they did of was the first one, The Unexpected Journey, An Unexpected Journey, I think it's called. even though they took a few embellishments, like Azog isn't supposed to even be alive or take a role in the book, obviously. And the Goblin King was kind of theatricized a bit, some stuff like that. Radagast was never in it, but I didn't mind it in the first one. I was excited, but I think it was, yeah, they stretched it out too long. It shouldn't have been three movies. The book is shorter than one book of Lord of the Rings. They stretched into three movies. I mean, they got Legolas and Toriel in there who aren't even in the book. I mean, Legolas I could excuse if they just had like a cameo, but he there's no way should have like this action presence in the movie constantly. And Toriel just kind of annoyed me because she shouldn't be there at all.
Right.
But yeah, I think it would have been a lot better as two movies. I think, I guess, in short.
Yeah, it kind of seems like when uh when film companies or just any company tries to do like a prequel type movie, it's not very well received.
I think they tried to make it like Lord of the Rings, but they didn't have like as much. They didn't have as much material to work with, and they relied on CGI way too much and a lot of improvising, like things that weren't actually in the book, and that kind of, I don't know, it took away from it. And it wasn't supposed to be this like action oriented. Like, I'm not sure if you ever read the Hobbit book, but there's very little actual combat in it, other than like maybe a few moments in of the goblins when they're down in Goblin Town, and the Battle of Five Armies. The Battle of Five Armies, by the way, I think it's only like 4 pages long, and they managed to turn that into an entire movie. But yeah, in general, they aren't all. There's not like a band of like fighters in general like that. I remember, and I think it might only be like Bilbo, Thorin, and Gandalf that actually have proper swords for most of it. I don't think it even says most of them have carrying real weapons for like most of it until maybe the end when they get to like Erebor. They armor up them for the final battle, and then, like and things like Fili and Kili, they made them like these expert archers in the movie, but in reality, like, they I don't think it even mentioned them having bows until they got to Beorn's house, like right before the what's it called, and right before Mirkwood, and they got bows for hunting, like, and they weren't. There was no indication they were expert hunters. The only thing I can think of is they actually set a scene where like Keeley shot a bow at a deer in the woods, something like that, and missed something like that. So I think Peter Jackson said, "Oh look, he's shooting a bow. Let's make him an archer." And like, I don't know. It wasn't supposed to be this combat heavy. I think they're trying to make it more like Lord of the Rings. It's more like, oh, half the time they're worried about what we're going to do for food, like where we're going to find shelter. It's a lot more about the adventure and traveling than it is about like fight orcs, run, which seems to be the pattern they kept looping in the movie.
Hmm. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Something. A similar situation that I've noticed recently that happened was the Artemis Fowl movie. I've heard it's not very good.
Oh, Effie hasn't didn't see that, but I saw the reviews were terrible. Was it that bad?
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I have heard a lot of complaints about it.
And that's based on a book too, or
Yeah, I think it's a series of books.
I've heard, the name sounds familiar, but I haven't actually read them. That's disappointing though. Yeah, a lot of people are real sticklers, probably including me. For like, they like the movies to match their books. Like, I'm probably one of the few people who, like, for the Harry Potter movies, who my favorite movies are the first two, the ones that are like a little bit lower budget, not as popular because they were a lot more like movie accurate. They were simplistic, and as soon as I don't know, they got to the newer movies and they started. I don't know. They got rid of the wizard robes. Everyone's wearing normal clothing. It starts feeling like a normal action movie.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. I didn't like it as much. I like when things like match the book, even if they're very simple. I don't need to be like blown away by endless like CGI and action scenes.
Yeah, yeah. Like if there's fans of something, then it's like if there are already a lot of Harry Potter fans, I'm sure before the movies, so then they would have gone to see it for to see like
Oh yeah,
the stuff that they
I don't think
yeah. Sorry,
there's
you.
never been a phenomenon like Harry Potter books. As far as like, I remember like the release parties and like I think I was pretty young then. I remember like Order of the Phoenix came out. Like, I think I was at the release party at the Borders bookstore when that was still a thing. Before it came out, because they always had these like stay up till midnight parties. They have like games and giveaways. You can like eat the candies from the books. And of course at midnight you get your book copy. But yeah, I've never seen anything like have that amount of hype. So the book fans from that were probably very, very critical of any difference in the movie. the big difference they always do. You've probably seen the memes like when in the book it says like Harry asked Dumbledore calmly, "Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?" When the movie he like roars and charges at him, like pushes him against the walls, like, "Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?" Like screaming it at him, and
Oh yeah.
people always compare those side by side.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. That. I think that was made into a meme as well. I saw
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it was an animated meme, and it's terrifying too. And you just see like the slow motion of Harry's face going completely shocked. And I was telling my friend when we saw the meme first, like I bet that was unexpected. Like Daniel Radcliffe probably saw the script. Okay, he's gonna come over and say calmly, "Did you put your name in a Goblet of Fire?" And just sees the actors like squinting at him, and they got it in one take. That was a genuine reaction to shocked face.
Oh, I
Like,
didn't
what
know
is
that.
happening? No, I just guessed that. That's
Oh.
just my guess based on his genuine response. He looked genuinely shocked when he was shoved back.
Oh, right. Hmm. All right. Yeah, that would be funny if that was true. Um. Yeah. Um. So, is there anything that you'd want to mention before we end the show?
Um, Guess that's it. We got sidetracked off Lego a little bit, but got on some fun topics. But yeah, just one more time, you're all welcome anytime. Any of you, any listeners, I guess, want to have Lego creations shared. Yeah, just look up the Clubbook Discord, the Clubbook YouTube channel every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're there just featuring anyone's build who wants to get featured. If you're a small YouTuber or something like that, your Lego ideas creator, whatever, that's what my channel is here for. We're here to help people get attention to themselves and get a moment in the spotlight.
Cool. Yeah. I'll leave. Should is it alright if I leave the link to the server in the description?
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah. Again, everyone who wants to check that out will be in the description and your YouTube channel as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Cool.